Right, welcome back to Breakfast Television. Now, Snow is the title of award-winning director Rohan Fernando's new film. It tells the story of a Sri Lankan woman who loses everything in a Boxing Day tsunami, including her twin sister, then moves to Halifax to rebuild her life. Now, the lead character is played by Kalista Zackhariyas, and we're joined now in studio by both Kalista and Rohan. Welcome to Breakfast Television. Thanks for coming in this morning.
Thanks for having us.
Kalista, we were talking a few minutes ago. You've lived quite the life already. We could go on probably for a half hour about some of the things in your background. Let's start with Rohan, though, because Rohan, really where this film comes from is your background. Tell us a little bit about your trip to Sri Lanka that sort of set you down the path to making this film.
Well, there was a number of trips to Sri Lanka. The first was a personal journey for myself. The second one was actually going there after the tsunami, a year after the tsunami, doing a film, a documentary on a man who had lost his wife and daughter. So this was a year after. There was a lot of emotion still close to everyone. So by the process of making that film really convinced me that there's a story here that I wanted to plunge deeper into.
Yeah, so that was a documentary, Blood and Water.
Blood and Water, yeah.
So at that time, in the back of your mind, were you already, did it sort of sow the seeds of making this dramatic film?
Not really. I was concentrating on the documentary at the time, but after the documentary was finished, I'd met a number of people whose stories had affected me deeply, and it was one of those things that I just felt that I needed to make sense of, and it connected to my story in some way that I wasn't able to articulate, but the process of writing clarified it for me. So I think it's still personal to my experience, but using the basis of the tsunami and that level of loss to articulate it.
Now, Kalista, you were married at 19, very young age. That was an unhappy marriage. Since then, you've lived in Europe. You've modeled. You're a martial artist. You do your own stunts, including in this film. You have a very, very varied background. What are the lead character? Do you find elements of her in yourself, or are there parts of yourself that you bring to the character?
Well, I think there's so many wonderful aspects in this movie that it can reach a wide range of people, and in that it definitely does reach my own life. It's a story of overcoming, and and I can honestly say I've had to overcome a lot in life. So in that way, yes, I can relate to the character in a strong way.
Yeah. Now, doing your own stunts, is that something you bring to most films? It certainly, I'm sure, it helps with Rohan's budget a little bit, but where does the martial arts background, how does that tie in for you?
Fortunately, I haven't had to use any of it in this film, but yeah, it's always exciting to be part of the entire process for me. It helps me maintain the character and the integrity of the character by performing all aspects of it. So.
Let's talk a little bit about the title as well, Snow, and how that ties in, because it's a movie that's largely about a Sri Lankan woman. The snow part doesn't jump out, but there's a great story that leads to the title. Can you tell us that, Rohan?
Well, one of the recurring themes in the film is water. It's water that takes the character's family away, and she crosses this vast body of water to come to the other side of the world, and here she sees water in different forms that she's never seen in Sri Lanka because of the temperature. So she sees it in frost and ice, and a theme in the film is a snow globe that her sister gives her, that she carries with her, and inside is a woman with snow falling around her. So there's never any snow in the film, except for one part, but
which we're not going to give away.
Which we're not going to give away.
But it is a main theme in it as well. Is there any, you grew up in Lower Sackville like I did. Is there any unique challenges trying to do a film in your own hometown like this, or is it actually a pleasure?
No, there's definitely challenges. It's a very diverse cast, an incredibly diverse cast. So one of the biggest issues that we had was casting for this film. And, you know, we were committed to making a local film with local actors and local crew. I knew that for our lead, I would have to go outside of the province, so that was one of the biggest challenges. But it's been really successful.
What was it about this film that you first said to yourself, Kalista, I have to be this character, I really want this?
Well, I've stayed out of the industry for quite some time, and coming back into the industry, the very first thing that made me interested in this role was really the director, because I think every actress wants to work with you know, a very good director, and I got that off of Rohan just from the very beginning. And then having read the script, it was just a very powerful story, one that I felt I could relate to very strongly, and just in terms of overcoming and moving forward and finding the strength. And so it's definitely a personal journey, I think, not just for myself, but a lot of members in our cast, and I found it to be just a very exciting and powerful story that I want to be a part of.
Well, we're looking forward to it as well. I know you're still in the filming process, so it's very early on, but any idea yet when the film might come out or where people can see it?
Well, it's set to be finished next summer, so depending on festival interest, we're hoping to launch it in the fall next year. In terms of festivals, so the first year will be a festival run and then theatrical.
Yeah, maybe, well, we'll cross our fingers for the Halifax International Film Festival. It'll be a great place for you to debut it right here in your hometown. The film is called Snow. We want to thank Rohan and Kalista for coming in this morning, and best of luck with the rest of the shoot.
Thank you.
We're going to take a little break. We'll be back on BT in just 2 minutes' time.